So, welcome to our Hatha Yoga class. And tonight's class is all about playful poses. So, we're going to be embracing the theme of play and hopefully our inner child. And with this class, I really want you to embrace a sense of freedom in your body. So, there isn't, like I say this a lot, but there isn't a right or wrong with yoga, as you know. And we kind of talk about this philosophy already. But in this class, I really want you to just rather than be focused on the external stuff around what you look like, I really want you to draw inwards in terms of what you feel like. And actually, there's going to be quite a lot of options to bring in kind of some free movement or freestyle in the poses. So you can basically make them your own and kind of experiment and explore different movements to see what works for you. In terms of props, then the thing that I would recommend is having a brick or block handy. You probably just need one. If anyone doesn't have that, then something like a board game, a sturdy book would be good. And then when you're ready, we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. So again, option to place a brick block cushion underneath the bum. And just take a big roll of the shoulders up, back and down, opening out through the chest. That's closing down the eyes. Taking a big deep breath in. And maybe sighing out through the mouth, just allowing yourself maybe just to sink down into your mat a little bit further. Inhale to rise up through the spine. And exhale just to sink further. And when you're here, just taking a moment, so without changing anything, without any effort, just to observe your breath. So watching the in-breath and the out-breath. Gently flowing in and out through the nose. Perhaps starting to make those breaths a little bit more expansive now. So see if you can start to lower the breath down into the belly. Filling the air all the way up from the bottom of the belly, all the way up to the top of the chest. And just using your breath as your anchor point. Allowing it to bring you into the here and now. Doesn't matter what your day or your week's been like. Your breath can bring you into this present moment. And with this practice, we're embracing the sense of our inner child, maybe something that we don't perhaps tap into that much with the seriousness of everyday life, but play and kind of that sense of joy of being a child, maybe the sense of inhibitions or lack of, is something that we often lose with age, with, as we have more responsibilities, lots of stuff going on. And so what I'd like you to do again is just really let go in this practice. And so to start with, you're going to imagine that you're at a very slow motion dance party. So what by that I mean is keep the eyes closed, and this is part of the meditation, so keeping them closed, is you're just going to start moving your body really slowly. So again, it is super duper slow, and you can maybe just move from side to side or make circles, whatever feels like naturally your body wants. But starting to imagine that you are doing this almost super slow motion movement with your body. Don't need to even peek. You're keeping those eyes firmly shut. Not worrying about what you look like, but just really tapping into what it feels like in your body. Doesn't have to be symmetrical. Doesn't have to have any logic to it whatsoever. So perhaps just starting with your spine. Then you might want to start adding in the arms or doing anything with the shoulders, the neck, the head. Keeping it slow, keeping it mindful, but just moving to your own rhythm. We're not necessarily thinking about breath and rhythm together. We're just moving whatever way our body calls to move this evening. Maybe allowing the neck and head to be heavy. Maybe playing with the hips. Starting to make the moves a little bit bigger. And maybe starting to speed them up slightly. Keeping those eyes closed. Again, working into any cricks or creaks. Often you become more aware of it when you do this position and you start realizing actually, oh, that felt really good, doing more of that, less of something else. Again, embracing this free form movement. And just 30 seconds or so more of this. And then when you're ready, we'll keep those eyes closed and start to draw some circles with the spine. So just scooping yourself around, again, option to have a little peek if you want, but starting to bring yourself forward and coming back. So you're starting to open through into the hips. And you might not be in this position. You can always have the feet outwards, being kneeling, but just starting to create some circles, some scoots forward, maybe bringing the hands in, like stirring the pot. Imagine you're stirring a big witch's cauldron. Other way, if you've not changed direction already. You can start bringing in the neck and shoulders, so kind of make it a bit more cat-cowy if that feels good for you. Then just see what feels good and roll with it. No judgment here. And don't worry, you're not being recorded, although I can I can obviously see you live. You won't be able to see you afterwards, so don't worry. Just allowing yourself to embrace it. And then just giving yourself a shake. Let's bring the hands out, maybe giving a shake of the hands, a little pat through the body, giving yourself little taps around the back, around the shoulders, going up to the face, little pitter patters on the face, on the head, down the neck, wherever. Wonderful. And just rolling now into an all fours position. We're going to continue working with a little bit more of those circles. So I'm going to do cat-cow, but kind of swirling yourself around as you go. So again, don't worry specifically what it looks like. Just kind of work with the feeling of rolling through the spine and then rolling the hips around. Again, you can start to make some figures of 8 with your cat-cows. You can get a bit funky with it. Shake those tailbones out. Just having a play. Lovely. And coming back to a flat back position. So wrists on the shoulders, knees underneath hips. Just see if you can embrace your core for a moment. We're going to embrace the dog peeing up the wall pose. So bringing your left knee out to the side and then gently bringing it back down. So see if you can keep your hips relatively square to the floor. Use your tummy just to suck in to help with that. We're just starting to work into the outer glute, well, the outer hip area, starting to target our glute muscles. One more on this side, and then gently coming back to center, and then coming across to the opposite side. So again, pressing firmly into the left knee, top of the left foot, and then bringing that right knee, right foot out to the side, trying to keep the knee and foot in line with each other. Everything's in a straight line if you can. But again, today it's more about what it feels like. One more. And release. Bringing the hands a palm distance forward, hands a little bit wider than shoulders, tucking those toes under. We come up to find our downward facing dog. And again, embracing this sense of play tonight. You guys are all familiar with downward facing dog now. So option to start walking the feet, but maybe adding a little bit more hippiness. You can sway from side to side. You can even circle with the downward facing dog, take a little wiggle, even little jumps. Really play with your movement in this pose. So we're still trying to keep the bum going up and back for the majority of it. But if we're circling around, obviously that will change slightly. If it feels too much in the wrist, obviously come down and do something with your cat-cows instead. Lovely. When you're ready, gently dropping the knees down to the earth and choosing your variation of child's pose. So option to have the knees in line with hips or bring the big toes together, bring the bum back towards the earth. And then we're coming into child's pose and just doing a sway in this position. So again, not worrying about what it looks like, it's what it feels like, maybe rocking from side to side. You can add little circles in, whatever feels good, maybe some spinal rolls. Just do whatever feels good in your body. Wonderful. And then bringing the hands back. We're coming back into our downward facing dog. So whichever way you've come into your child's pose, calming out, tucking those toes under and springing up to find yourself in your downward facing dog. Option again to take a little wiggle, any free movement. If you want a little challenge today, you could also bring the right hand to left kind of leg or ankle and then swap sides. Again, just challenging through the arms. Or just continuing to work with some free movement. Maybe working with one leg in the end and then the other, whatever you want. So just have a play. Again, just swapping sides if you are doing something that involves one leg or one arm, just making sure you've done both evenly. And then from your downward facing dog, options in terms of transitions, you can walk, step, or jump up to the top of the mat. If you want to try a jump, you're going to bend through the knees really strongly, gaze up between your fingertips, and then spring yourself up to the top of your mat. Otherwise, just walk yourself up nicely or shuffle yourself up, doesn't matter. We all end up in our forward fold. Allowing yourself just to hang over here, take a nod of the head, a shake of the head, release it out. And then maybe taking a little rock from side to side, no particular movement, just whatever feels good. Option to grab opposite elbows, have a little jiggle up and down, wiggle it out, whatever way feels good for you. So again, feel free to keep those knees generously bent just to help take off any edge of the lower back. Lovely. And then from here, option are to roll yourself up kind of yoga zombie style if that's what your body wants today. You can also have the hands on the legs if you're doing that, or you can come up to your halfway lift, hold it for a few breaths, and then hinge yourself all the way up. So again, choose what feels good, what your body's calling for today. And then tucking your tummy in wherever you are to gently bring yourself to the top of your mat. And just for a moment, finding yourself in a little bit of stillness. So we want to come back to our Tadasana, our mountain pose, rolling those shoulders up, back and down, allowing the hands to face towards the front, and just allowing yourself to close down the eyes or find a very soft gaze and just draw inwards once more. Perhaps you're noticing this sense of building energy. Maybe something's shifted from that little bit of freedom that you've given your body. Just noticing any shifts in sensations, whether it's body, mind, or breath since the beginning of the practice. Coming back to your breath. And keeping the eyes closed if it's comfortable to do so. Just bringing the hands to prayer position in front of your chest. Just connecting with your heart space, the place that holds so much joy for us. So with this theme of play, let's play a little bit with our breath and movement. So we're going to inhale the arms out to the side, up to the sky, and then exhale to bring the hands to heart center. So again, option to close the eyes here. Inhale up and around. Exhale to heart center. So playing with your own time and your own breath, doesn't have to be in sync with me. And you can make it as fast or as slow as feels good for you. But feeling like you've got this lovely energy surging from the heart space. And let's do the other way around. So inhaling up, exhaling out. Noticing that change in sensation as we change the circles of those arms. Releasing the hands down when you're ready. And gently bringing the hands perhaps to elbows is one option here, or you can have the hands in prayer position above the head. I quite like the elbow variation. Coming back to your Tadasana, so just checking the feet are in line with shoulders, a tiny little bend in the knee, and we're trying to keep the hips nice and square to the front. I've got a sick dog which is in the room with me, so you're seeing a slight cone, so apologies for that. When you're ready, you're going to gently press through your feet and gently hinge across to one side. So seeing if you can keep this lovely sense of spaciousness. So again, we want to kind of rock over to the one side, see if we can keep it nice and square and gently kind of work to create space into the side body. Breathing into that space. Inhale back up to center, exhale across to the opposite side. Feel this sense of opening into that side body. Rest the feet evenly into the air. Lovely. Bring yourself back up to center. And then option to have the hands in prayer position or on the hips. We're coming through a little bit of a challenge to start us off, which I'd sort of forgotten I'd thrown into this class, but I was having a play with it, and clearly we are embracing the sense of fun. So starting from the top of your mat, you're going to bring your weight into your right foot to start with. And then if it's comfortable, so you option here is you could come into a tree pose, so just bring the foot to the lower leg, or if it's comfortable to do so, you're going to bring your left ankle above the right knee and sink the bum down. So finding a standing figure of four, again, option to have the hands in prayer positions. The bum's kind of going backwards. We've got that knee going out to the side, so a bit of a hip opening balance. Pausing here, just having a play. If it feels too much, you can always come back out, or as I said, just work with your tree with the knee coming out to the side. One more breath. And then when you're ready, you're going to step that foot back, coming into a high lunge. Option to keep the hands where they are, option to keep the arms up to the sky. Pause here for a breath. And then bring the hands to heart center back into your prayer pose. We're going to twizzle from the hips, so twisting from the hips up and over the front leg. Option to hinge with that elbow. Option to stay upright with this and just work with twisting the ribs in an upright position. Slightly less strenuous if you want to work with that one. Pressing away into that left heel, holding for a breath. And then gently spinning forward over that front foot, stepping front foot to meet the back, come into your plank pose. Check your wrists are roughly in line with your shoulders, and you're pressing away into those heels. So you've got a lovely straight spine, option to lower the knees down at any point. Wherever you are, I do want a really strong core though. So tucking that tummy in, imagine that you're engaging those bum cheeks as well. We pause for a breath. And we're going to lower yourselves down in whatever way feels good for you. So you can go with the knees and just lower yourself down. If you've got another way, you're working with your vinyasa in different techniques, then you're going to lower yourself to the ground and come up to find either a cobra or perhaps a sphinx pose. See what feels good for your body today. Wonderful. When you're ready, pressing the hands to the sides, pushing yourself up and back. Find that downward facing dog option to add some movement here. We're going to pause for a few breaths so you have an option to come down to your child's pose if you'd like to. And again, you can do a sway child's pose or a more restful child's pose. See what feels good. And then when you're ready, you're going to press your right foot into the ground, bring your left foot up and back, bring the heel around towards the right bum cheek, so opening out into the hip. And then stepping that foot to the outside of your left wrist, left hand. Beautiful. Option to lower the knee down to the ground. So we're coming into lizard pose. So you just want to hinge it back slightly to make sure you've got a little bit of a stretch. Or if you want, you can keep that foot up and we're just going to work with a gentle sway, perhaps back and forth, or maybe going around from side to side. So working with our lizard pose. You can also do this in your with your knee down. You might want to place something underneath, like a blanket or something underneath your knee if it feels a bit too hard on the floor. So again, just embracing some free movement here, working into the hips. And if your knee is down at this point, you're going to gently come onto the toes quickly. We're not going to be here for long. And when you're ready, you're going to step the right foot up to the outside of the right hand, coming into a little squat. Woohoo! At the top of the mat. Lovely. Pausing here. Option to have a little sway from side to side. Extra challenge. And then bringing yourself into a forward fold. Let yourself hang out. Let everything go. Take any movement that feels good, or just stay in stillness if that's what your body prefers. Option to have a little nod or shake of the head here to release a bit of that tension. I find swaying feels nice. And then when you're ready, either flowing yourself up, so bringing the arms out to the side and around, or you can roll yourself up super slowly, which I'm going to do this time, or comes that halfway lift. Hold for a moment and then gently hinge yourself up. So taking your choice based on what feels good for your body this evening. Wonderful, looking great, everyone. So we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Just take a moment in your mountain pose just to feel nice and supported, nice and grounded. Pressing the feet into the earth. Option to have the hands on the hips or hands in prayer position. We're going to come and find that figure of four pose on the opposite side. So this time pressing into the left foot, we're bringing that right foot either into our straight into our tree pose, or you're bringing that ankle just over the top of that left thigh, sinking the bum down. Again, you can stay quite upright if you're just working with your balance here. The more you sink it down, the more you're working that lower body. Keep the tummy tucked in and see if you can keep your chest nice and proud. Easier said than done. Press your feet firmly into the floor. Hold for one more breath, doing super dirt well. It's quite a challenging one. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring that foot back, find yourself in your high lunge. Option to keep the hands in prayer, bring the arms up or bring them to the hips, whatever feels good for you. Pausing here, just enjoying this sensation, really pressing through the whole of the back heel and really checking in the alignment a little bit. So is the knee roughly tracking above the ankle? Lovely. And then from here, we're coming into our gentle twist, either so bringing the hands to the hips, either starting up top and just staying, twisting from the middle back with their spine upright, or coming over, seeing if you can hinge, perhaps using that elbow to increase the twist, pressing through that right heel strongly on this side. Hold for a couple of breaths. And then spinning yourself around in front of that foot. You're going to come into your plank position. Again, have a little play with it. Option to come down onto the knees. Seeing if you can engage through the core, through the bum cheeks, tops of the thighs. We hold for one more breath. And then gently lowering down, whichever way feels good for you. Keeping those elbows sucked in, whichever way you come down. Rolling yourself up, pressing the tops of the feet into the earth. Cobra, Sphinx pose. You can come up a little bit higher if you like. Keeping the hip bone firmly on the ground, wherever you are. Pressing yourself up and back. Either coming through your child's pose and maybe enjoying your sway there, or coming up to find your downward facing dog and enjoying your downward dog, little slow motion dance party in whichever way feels good. Beautiful. Pressing into the left foot, so coming to stillness, pressing into the left foot, bring the right foot up and back, kicking that heel up towards the left bum cheek, that knee out to the side, by a nice little hip opening stretch. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring that foot to the outside of the right hand. So coming to shift your foot back if you need to. We're looking to find this lizard pose. Again, option to lower the back knee to the earth. The toes are facing slightly outwards normally. And we're looking to find a stretch into the hips effectively. Option to keep that back knee up. Option to have a little roll through the hips. Maybe a rock from front to back, or do some little circles. Anything that feels good here. Coming to stillness, pressing those hands into the ground, could be fists if your wrists are starting to feel it or it's a little bit easier. And then you're going to bring the back foot to meet the front, or just outside of the left hand to left foot to left hand, I should say, coming into your squat. Don't worry if the heels don't touch the earth. Option to press those knees further apart using your hands. Pause here for a couple of breaths, or just leave the hands on the floor. Bringing the hands down if they're up, gently bringing the bum up, coming to your forward fold. Have a little play. Again, maybe drawing some circles with the hands, bringing yourself into a little ragdoll or anything that feels good. Lovely. Perfect. Gently pressing your feet into the earth, tucking your tummy in, and perhaps rolling up or choosing any of the other options. We end up in our mountain pose. Just pausing at the top of your mat, reconnecting feet and earth, perhaps closing down the eyes. And just coming back to your breath here. Option, if you're up for it, is to start adding your little free dance party here. So from your standing position, option to keep those eyes closed just helps get rid of those inhibitions slightly. Just starting to add any movement that feels good. So you're dancing to your own tune now. You can change exactly where the legs position. You can start wandering up your mat. I don't care what you do, just do anything that feels good. I'm gonna have a little dance. And then inhaling the arms up to the sky, exhaling over into a forward fold, generously bend the knees. Take a little blubber out through the lips, like a horse. Inhale through the nose, do that again. It's like you're blowing raspberries again. When you're ready, gently rolling yourself up or scooping those arms up and out, ending up in your mountain pose. Lovely work. So we're going to come through a little warrior flow. I think we've got time. Yeah, a little warrior flow into a half moon balance. So this is where having your bricks or blocks handy would be helpful. Again, feel free to get your books, board games. I'm going to place one at the top of my mat, one at the bottom. But if you only have one, don't worry, you can move it. So we're going to start at the top of the mat. Hands on the hips, pressing into the feet, getting the lovely straight spine. When you're ready, we're going to go and find our warrior one. So bringing the, let's go, I'm going to say right foot back. I'm going to do the opposite to you. And shift, imagine that your hips are going towards the top edge of the mat, keeping a bend through the front knee. And then we are again, our option to add the arms up and out the front, if that feels good for you. So again, you can play with how long or short the stance is. And you might like to have a little play with this pose. So again, we can exhale, bend the knee a little bit further, bring the hands out into cactus arms, inhale up, straighten off through the knee. So coming out, it's almost like a kind of warrior with the arms coming out to the front. You can imagine that you're warding someone off using those arms. You can even do a little lion's breath here if you wanted to. So sticking the tongue out and breathing out through the mouth, closing down the eyes or looking kind of square-eyed. One more. Arms up, and then we're going to bend through that front knee, spin the hips out, hips stay where they are, spin the torso out towards the side of the mat, arms coming out to open into our warrior two pose. Strong, really strong arms here. If it feels too much at any time, you can always drop the hands down, but seeing if we can work through those shoulders, gazing over the front fingertips, press into the whole of the front foot, outer edge of the back foot, slight tuck of the tummy in. And then bringing the back hand to the hip, shifting the hip towards the back of the room, straightening out through that front leg. We're going to hinge ourselves forward. So it's like hips coming back, but imagine that you're stretching perhaps out through that left arm towards the front. And this is where you could want your brick or block, or you can just bring your hand to your calf, coming into triangle pose. So again, you can play with how long or short your stance is. If it feels too much, bring that back foot in slightly. Wonderful. We pause here for just one more breath. And then option to bring that top hand down to the hip, just makes it a little bit easier. You're going to place your brick or block just to the outside of the front foot. If you don't have one, you could actually be against a wall or use a chair or something like that, and put your elbow on the chair if you're going to do that. And then you're going to bring the back foot in slightly, and you're going to kick that foot up and out to the side. So it's very much a side when we're not coming back with the bum. It's very much hip opening out, toes facing towards the top of the mat, working out. So it doesn't matter if they're only coming up this way, but working out to the side and then bringing that there. If you want to do it against a wall, and it works quite nicely with a brick or block or stool or something, but you can do it without, because actually with the wall, you've got a little bit more support, for example. There we are. Lovely, just playing with this pose. See if you can really press into that top. So the leg that's raised, see if you can bring the toes towards your shins and really press into the heel as you bring that foot up and out to the side. Lovely active legs. Spiraling the shoulders open, looking superb. One more breath wherever you are. And then gently planting that foot back. We're going to spin the arms up to find ourselves back in our warrior two. Beautiful. Flipping the front palm up. Bringing the back hand down the leg, coming up and over, keeping the bend in the front knee, reverse warrior. Tuck that tummy in to support the back. Lovely. Feeling like an opening through that chest. And then gently hinging yourself forward, bringing the toes towards the front, perhaps slightly inward, coming into wide-legged forward fold. Option to have a little sway from side to side here. You maybe even brush the hands on the ground. You can walk the hands between the legs. Have a little play with this pose. Really nice. Keep it bend in the knee just to give yourself a little bit of space. And again, you can enjoy a nice little rock here. Again, playing with where the weight is in the foot, whether it's towards the toes or the heels, will change where you feel the sensation. When you're ready, perhaps hands on the hips, coming up to halfway lift, or you're welcome to roll yourself if you prefer. We'll all meet gently upwards. So we're going to spin around. So bringing what will be hopefully your right toes towards the front of the mat, kicking the left heel out to the side. So again, we're finding that warrior one position on this side. So play with the legs as you need to, so that the hips can come roughly towards the top corner of that mat. And then we are inhaling the arms up to the sky. See if you can press into the outer edge of the back foot, whole of the front foot, tucking the tummy in, and then option to play with those arms again. So we're going to exhale to bend through the front knee a little bit more. Inhale up, exhale out. Again, just see what feels good. If you want to work with your lion's breath, you can bring that back in. Or maybe you're just working with an audible exhale. One more. And then the next time you come up, just bend through that front knee. Again, we're going to twizzle the arms out to the side, twizzle through that using the ribs to bring the torso round to the long edge of your mat. Just checking in with the arms. Have we got a lazy back one? Can we bring them nice and parallel? Lovely. And let's just do a couple of moves. So let's flip the arms up, inhale up, exhale down. So a nice little shoulder burner. Why not? Like you're floating, having a little bird-like wings going on. One more. And then bringing the hands to the hips. Again, you might want to switch where your brick or block is if you need to, or just grabbing the one that's up this end if you already moved it. Then you're going to gently move it to the inside of that front foot. And from your position, just see if you can straighten off through the front leg, hinge. So imagine that you're pushing your hip towards the back of the room, just creating a little bit more space, bringing the arms out to the side if it's comfortable to do so, or you can always have the back hand on the hip, stretching through those front fingertips. Really imagine that you're stretching towards the front and then calming down, perhaps finding the brick or block, perhaps your shin on the earth, and then bringing the other arm up. Find this lovely wide wingspan. Seeing if you can spiral open with the chest. If it means you have to come up a little bit higher to do that, feel free. Again, make it your own. So with this front leg, it's practically straight, a tiny little micro bend. So bringing yourself up if you need to create the shape. Lovely. Really nice, everyone. One more breath. And then we're going to play with our half moon on this side. So again, option to bring yourself against a wall if you're not working with your brick or block. Let's bring the top hand down. Let's move the brick or block to the outside of that front foot. So just in front, somewhere where it's roughly in line with the shoulder when you come up. Bringing the back foot in slightly, just to give yourself a little bit more space and make it a little bit easier. Press the hand firmly into that foot and then bringing that foot up and out to the side. So again, playing. So look at somewhere on the earth, make sure you've got a nice sucked in of the tummy, or you perhaps bring the arm up to the sky. Pressing firmly into the back heel, bringing the toes towards the shins, opening the leg out. We hold for another breath or two. Really good. Enjoy the sense of openness, a sense of strength in the body. And then as you exhale, gently pop that foot back down, bring the arms up, find yourself in your warrior two, or whichever way, doesn't matter, no judgment. We're moving to our own tune. So come and find your warrior two, whichever way. Staring over those front fingertips. When you're ready, bringing the back hand down onto the back leg, flipping that front palm up and over, tucking the tummy in, bringing the arm up and over. Keep the bend in the knee if it's drawing backwards. See if you can keep it now. Find that reverse warrior pose. Breathing here, finding that space in the side body. One more deep breath. And then spinning yourself around to the front, perhaps bringing the toes slightly inwards, allowing yourself to relax and release. Maybe taking a horse flutter lips if that felt good for you, maybe doing some more sways, or maybe starting to slow your movement down a little bit as we start to calm down through our practice. Perhaps wiggling those feet inwards to hip distance or even closer together. Not even, well, yeah, just wider than hip distance or closer together. And then bringing your knees down, so coming to find a little toe stand and see if you can come down to that child's pose and just come back to find a little gentle sway in it, just to finish the sensation of free movement, just noticing. So you might find if you're in this variation, so the traditional variation, a little rock through the forehead feels like a really nice massage. You're starting to loosen off into different places. Do any movement that feels good. And then when you're ready, gently rolling yourself up. Take your time, there's no rush. And we're going to do a couple of fun poses to finish before we come into our relaxation. So this one we haven't done before. So you're going to bring the feet out wide and you're going to bend through the knees. So it's a bit an unusual pose, but it's a variation of our turtle pose. And what you're going to do is then bring your hand, and it feels a little bit weird, I'm not going to lie. You're going to bring it under the kind of tissue of your bum. So just slightly to the side and slightly to the side. So again, you wiggle yourself onto it and then just start to gently fold yourself forward. So leading from the heart and then gently bringing yourself up. So it's really starting to work into the hip area. Inhale up, exhale over. And then gently rolling yourself up once more, releasing those hands, maybe giving them a little shake. We're going to do a rock, rock, rock your boat move. So, boat pose. I figured a little bit of fun, bring back some childhood games. So with boat pose, just as a quick recap, there's a few different options. So you can have the hands on the floor, we're working on core, so we're engaging through the tummy. Keep the heels on the floor, hands on the floor is option one. If you're happy to work with the rock today, you're going to bring definitely the feet off the ground. And then you can have either the hands on the floor, perhaps behind the backs of the legs. I found that one's when I've been practicing this, the one I prefer, or you can bring the hands out to the side. And you're just going to have a little play, rocking your boat back and forth. So again, keep the tummy tight as you're doing this. And you can do it as slow or fast as you like. You can even come onto your back and up. And see if you can challenge yourself on the way up. Oops. And everything's going everywhere. But see if you can challenge yourself not to go all the way with the feet down, come to the boat. Yeah, lovely. Just another couple. And then gently, when you next rock yourself down, just bringing the knees into your chest and giving yourself a big hug. Well done. Hopefully you felt that a little bit in your core. A little bit of a core workout. Maybe a little rock from side to side. Any little circles, figures of eight. Bring this free movement into your releasing wind pose. Wonderful. And then we're going to find our happy baby pose. So option one is just to bring the knees out to the side and perhaps just work here, gentle kind of hip opening. You can start to bring the feet up towards the sky, finding a parallel position and bringing their hands just to the calves or shins, perhaps to the ankles or perhaps to the outer edges of the feet. And when you found your position of choice, you might want to again add a little rocking sensation here. So you can even use your knee. So if you bend one knee and straighten the opposite leg, it starts to give you a little bit of lever so you can make the movement quite big. Have a little play. You might fall over. Don't worry. It's part of the sense of play. That's, it's something I guess we, as an adult, we tend to not want to fall over and fall flat on our faces. But as children, we did it all the time and then we just got back up again. So see if you can embrace it. Wonderful. Coming back to stillness, perhaps coming back to bring those knees into the chest, or you can just hold the happy baby if you prefer. And then releasing the feet down to the ground, you're going to cross your right leg over left. So you're finding a cross-legged position. Gently bringing the hands out to the side and gently just bring the knees over towards the right-hand side. So this is where you might, again, want a brick or block cushion just to support. You could bring the left foot down onto the mat even so that it's supporting you so you're not going quite as far down. You can place any padding that you need. We're looking to find a gentle twist, perhaps a little bit more of a stretch into the outer hip area with this cross-legged variation. So if you can, perhaps see what works for you. You can always bring the legs a little bit further away to reduce the sensation or bring them a little bit further up towards the chest to increase it. Arms either bent at the elbows or straight out to the sides in your T shape. Play with the gaze, whether it's center, looking towards the bent knees or away from the bent knees. See if you can relax and release into this pose, start to switch off. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, roll the knees back up to center. Just see if you can adjust yourself. So if you've shifted the hips, so you're back in center, see if you can adjust and then bring the right leg over left. Find your arm position once more and then gently rock those knees over to the opposite side. So again, take any adjustments, always move those knees closer or further away from the chest. Play with where those arms are, play with where the gaze is. Just enjoying this feeling of being supported, perhaps this sensation slightly into that right outer hip area. And then gently bringing the knees back up to center and getting any layers or anything else that you need to have a really comfortable relaxation this evening. So it's starting to get a little bit cooler. I know the sunshine has come out today, but if you want to grab any socks, perhaps a blanket, eye pillow, anything that's going to make your practice more comfortable, gently finding that now. And once you've found a comfortable position, then just allowing yourself to nestle against the floor. So feeling super grounded, super supported by the floor below. So taking a moment just to make any last little wiggles or adjustments. Closing down the eyes if they're not already. And just allowing this sense of heaviness to spread throughout the body. So can you really feel like the ground is supporting you from below? Perhaps taking some breaths to breathe in some awareness and then exhale to kind of allow yourself to really relax and let go into the earth beneath you. And then starting with your toes, I want you to gently start to play with the sensations of your body. And by that, I mean just notice without any judgment what's going on. So as you start to do a really gentle body scan effectively through your body, so starting with your toes and gently work your way up, anytime you notice a sensation, no matter how big or small, I want you to just stop and just breathe into that area. Perhaps notice what's there. Perhaps noticing if there's a specific color or image even that comes up. Maybe it's a texture. You don't need to name anything or, you know, describe it fully in your mind's eye. It's just about allowing whatever comes up to come up. And then if it feels like it's an area of tension or perhaps something that you're holding on to or gripping or something that feels like it needs to be explored a little bit further, then I invite you to spend some time simply breathing into that area. So if it feels like it's tense or tight, you can breathe a healing breath in. So breathing into that space and then exhaling out to see if you can let anything go. And there's no rules with this. So you can, go as fast or slow as you want. I recommend slowing down just because it will allow you to be a little bit more mindful with it and to really kind of tap into some of the spaces. And if you only get to like your ankle by the end of this practice because you found that you've got every single toe that needs covering, that's fine, right? It's all about a bit of exploration. So I'm going to leave you in silence for a few minutes just to explore this. And anytime you notice a sensation, you're just going to explore what's there. Perhaps breathe into it if you would like to. Perhaps that healing breath in and the exhaling to let go, or just continuing on to another part of your body if you would rather. Remember, there are no rules. Just allow yourself to explore your body, the different sensations, dancing to your own tune. just a little while longer doing this exercise. When you're ready, just releasing, letting that go, wherever body part you got to, just allowing yourself just to let that go and just allow your mind now to do whatever it wants to do. So it might be in a state of calm and just thinking of nothing, or it might be going wild right now. And there's no right or wrong answer, but just allow it to do whatever it wants to do. When you're ready, starting to bring some physical awareness back into your body. Perhaps a little rock of the head from side to side, a little wiggle of the fingers and the toes. And then starting to invite any other movement that feels good into your body now. It might be a full body stretch, might be knees into the chest, any stretches, any movements that feel good. And then when you're ready, just going to roll yourself onto your favorite side, just taking a moment in your fetal position just to allow your practice just to sink in. And once you've taken a couple of breaths here, just gently using your hands to gradually support yourself to come up to find a comfortable seated position. Keeping the eyes closed or with a soft gaze if it's comfortable to do so. Gently inhaling the arms up to the sky, feeling that beautiful energy you've created from your practice, that sense of play. Exhale the hands to heart center, that space where all the joy sits. Maybe bringing the head towards the hands if it's comfortable to do so. Just thanking yourself for stepping on your mat and embracing your inner child with me this evening. It was so lovely to see you all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evenings, the rest of your week, and hopefully you can take a little bit of that play off the mat this week. Maybe not take life so seriously. That's my little top tip, or life off the mat this week. So thanks everyone, and